For 51 years, a Halloween night murder in Utah had no official answer. This month, DNA technology closed the case, and the name attached to the evidence is one of the most notorious in American criminal history. This is True Crime Today. Coming up, a 51-year cold case is officially solved. DNA confirms serial killer Ted Bundy murdered a 17-year-old Utah girl on Halloween night 1974. And the technology that cracked it could unlock more. Plus, a Nebraska man sentenced to death for a mass murder that shattered a small town. A landmark murder conviction reversed in Colorado. And a Virginia double murderer gets a sentencing date. And in today's Deep Look, a 16-year-old sits in a Mississippi prison for killing her mother. Her stepfather and her grandparents are fighting to free her. We will explain why. I'm Morgan Voss. This is True Crime Today. Today's episode sends a reminder that we have over 15,500 unidentified human remains cases in the United States. These are someone's mother, father, sister, brother, or child, and they need your help. Visit www.namus.gov for more. In our lead story, for 51 years, the death of Laura Ann Aime had no official resolution. She was 17 years old. On October 31, 1974, she left a Halloween party in Utah County to walk to a nearby convenience store. She never came home. Her body was found by hikers about a month later in American Fork Canyon. She had been beaten. Investigators long suspected Ted Bundy, who was living and actively killing in Utah that year. Before his execution in Florida in January of 1989, Bundy made verbal acknowledgments to investigators that pointed to Laura. But verbal statements are not convictions. And without physical proof, the case stayed open. In 2023, the Utah State Crime Lab acquired new DNA technology. This technology can extract genetic profiles from evidence that is small, old, or heavily degraded. Samples that would have yielded nothing a decade ago. Analysts extracted a single male DNA profile from evidence preserved from Laura's crime scene. They submitted it to the Combined DNA Index System, the National Law Enforcement DNA database. The match came back to Ted Bundy. On April 1st, the Utah County Sheriff's Office made it official. After 51 years, Laura Ann Aime's case is closed. But the significance of this announcement reaches well beyond Utah. Bundy is believed to have killed at least 30 young women between 1974 and 1978 across 7 states. Investigators in Wyoming have long suspected he was responsible for additional unsolved murders from that same era. They now have a confirmed, shareable Bundy DNA profile to test against evidence from those cases. For Laura Ann Aime's family, a 51-year wait is over. For other families still without answers, the science that closed her case may be the key to closing theirs. Today in our case updates, Update 1, Nebraska. In Cedar County, Nebraska, a judge this week sentenced Jason Jones to death. Jones was convicted of killing 4 people in 2022. His victims were his neighbor and 3 members of that neighbor's family. After the murders, he set the home on fire. The killings devastated the small farming community of Laurel, a town of fewer than 1,000 people. The judge found the aggravating factors in the case to be overwhelming. Jason Jones now sits on Nebraska's death row. Update 2, Colorado. A major reversal in the case of Letecia Stauch. The Colorado Court of Appeals overturned Stauch's 2023 murder conviction and ordered a new trial. Stauch was convicted of killing her 11-year-old stepson, Gannon Stauch, in 2020. The appeals court found the trial judge made a structural error during jury selection. One juror who deliberated had a son-in-law who worked as a prosecutor in the same office handling the case. The court ruled that failing to remove that juror required a full retrial. The Arapahoe County District Attorney's Office says they are prepared to retry the case. Update 3. Virginia Brendan Banfield, the Fairfax County man convicted in February on 2 counts of aggravated murder, now has a sentencing date. A judge has scheduled May 8th for Banfield's sentencing. Prosecutors say Banfield used an online platform to lure an innocent stranger named Joseph Ryan to his home. He then killed Ryan and his own wife, Christine, and staged the scene to look like a home invasion. A Brazilian au pair who helped plan the scheme was separately sentenced to 10 years after pleading guilty to manslaughter. Banfield faces life in prison without the possibility of parole. And now to our deep look. Gregg. When the victim's own family asks for mercy. Gregg was 14 years old when she shot and killed her mother. The crime happened in Rankin County, Mississippi in 2024. Carly shot her mother, Ashley Smiley, who was a teacher at the same high school Carly attended. She also shot her stepfather, Heath Smiley. He survived. After the shooting, Carly called a friend to come to the house and see what she had done. She was charged as an adult. In September of 2024, a jury convicted her of first-degree murder and attempted murder. A judge sentenced her to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Carly Gregg is now 16 years old. In February of this year, a group called Carly's Warriors went public. They launched a letter-writing campaign to the Mississippi Supreme Court and formed a nonprofit in Carly's name. The leaders of that group are Carly's grandparents and Heath Smiley, the stepfather Carly tried to kill, the husband of the woman Carly murdered. He has said publicly that Ashley would not have wanted this for Carly. On April 2nd, the Mississippi Supreme Court agreed to hear the appeal. Oral arguments are scheduled for May 27th. Carly's attorneys argue three things. First, that a life without parole sentence is unconstitutional for a juvenile under state law. Second, that the sentencing instructions given to the jury were legally improper. Third, that prosecutors made prejudicial comments during closing arguments. This case sits at one of the most difficult intersections in criminal law. A child who committed a devastating, premeditated act of violence. A victim's own family asking the court for mercy on her behalf. A system weighing whether the sentence it imposed is what the law actually requires. We will cover the outcome of those arguments when they happen on May 27th. Coming up, we are watching two dates on the calendar. On May 8th, Brendan Banfield faces sentencing in Fairfax County, Virginia. On May 27th, the Mississippi Supreme Court hears oral arguments in the Carly Gregg appeal. We will have coverage on both. That's your True Crime Today. I'm Morgan Voss. Stay informed, stay safe.